Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first All for United preview Q&A show. I am your host, Temi, aka Temi Talks United. Everyone who is watching on all platforms, make sure to go to youtube.com/All for United right now. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. When we get to 30 likes on this stream, I'm going to ask a question at the end of the show, and whoever answers that question gets a chance to win some great merchandise from Football Town Apparel. So let's get to 30 likes. Everyone, it's a Q&A show today. So everyone start dropping your questions about anything Manchester United related. We're going to do 20 minutes of Q&A for the show. I see Jamie's in the comments evening. Jamie, make sure you drop a question about Manchester United, anything, literally anything. We're going to preview the show, and then right after that, we're going to make sure to answer those questions for you. youtube.com/All for United. I'm joined by some great Manchester United fans as always. I got Stu with me, I got Mark Biggs with me, and I got my guy Hama with me. Everybody, hit the like button. We're going to get right into this. FA Cup tie, Manchester United versus West Ham. Big game, especially off of the back of a disappointing result. It's really important that we win. I think it's important that we win a trophy this season. I know it doesn't necessarily have to be the FA Cup, but the fact that we're chasing something is really exciting to me, and I think we have the squad to go deep in this tournament. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna start with the guys. We're gonna talk a little bit about the Everton game and what effects, what changes we made today. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna start with Stu. Obviously, we talked about this. I think in the post match and how disappointed we were. We talked about it on Wall of Reds as well. What do you think Ollie's gonna do? Considering how the Everton game kind of played out for us.
Well, it's going to be a bit of a wake-up call for two or three of the players. Really, just weren't on song. What Ollie should do is, start that starting 11 again. Go out and redeem yourselves. But I think what he'll do, he'll make quite a few changes. And I would advocate he makes changes anyway, because the FA Cup traditionally it's a huge competition, full of history, full of values. Any professional footballer, English professional footballer, wants to win the FA Cup. It's great on their resume. He's got to give our squad players some game time. Look, we've got Pogba missing. He's either going to do one or two things. He'll play McFred. He'll bring Matic in, or he could give Donny a run. It was said right at the very beginning of the summer that Donny was brought in to replace the departing Pogba. When he does go, if Donny does come in, by the way, he's got to take his chance. He's got to grasp it with both hands. I think West Ham will be a good fit for him. We should have some fire in our belly with regards to it. I think he'll remove De Gea. I think he'll take him out the firing line. I think Henderson will come in. I don't know what he'll do at centre half, because has he been in a car crash? Have I read, or I heard, or something?
Yeah, something.
Yeah, so something's happened. So
and that's not a figure of speech, is it? He actually was.
Literally,
yeah, he was. So I don't know whether he'll bring Tuanzebe in. I feel quite bad for. I didn't realise he was. I don't want to go into it, but racially abused on Twitter. I found that the day after. Heinous, and that's all I'm going to say. I don't want to touch on that.
Right.
And I don't know what that's done for the kids' confidence. I did have a bit of a dig at him on Wall of Reds. I dug him out. I felt I was right to dig him out. But at the end of the day, he plays for our great club, and we should support every single one of our players that take that field at any one time. So I'm just hoping that the lads that take the pitch tomorrow night really, take the game by the scruff of the neck. West Ham are playing very, very well at the minute. Moyes has got them ticking on. I don't think Lingard can play. I don't know if that's been confirmed or not. I'm sure
I don't think so.
I'd like to see us keep a clean sheet. I'd like to see us on the front foot, and I'd like to see us go with probably Greenwood, Rashford, and I'd like to put Martial back in. Tomorrow night and give Eddie a rest. So,
fair enough. Let's get in the comments real quick. I see so many regulars on the show. Stuart O'Hara, evening. Stuart, make sure you drop a question for us. We're doing a Q&A at the end of the show. Everyone who's watching right now, hit the like button. We want to get to 30 likes. So I can ask a question, and whoever answers it correctly gets their name put in a hat to win some great merchandise from Football Town Apparel. Your name can be entered more than once, by the way. So keep answering questions correctly, and you have a better chance to win the merchandise. You feel me? So everyone, get your thoughts in the comments. Mark, Stu made some really fascinating points regarding what Ollie's going to do rotation wise. I think he's going to rotate heavily, but like I've said in the past, I think our squad is really strong. Like when you look at it, when we rotate, the squad still has looked relatively strong for most games that we've played this season. Obviously, Pogba's a big loss, but I think that this might be a game for like a Matic who hasn't played in quite a while, and has the quality to play against the West Ham. Maybe we see a Fred back in the side. You know what I'm saying? So what do you think Ollie's going to do? Do you think it's going to be heavy rotation, or do you think it's just going to be a couple changes?
I don't think there's going to be too many. I think that this is a real benefit about our squad is, we have got a very rich squad, far better than last season. I tweeted about 40 minutes actually ago, and I said basically it could be an opportunity for several players tomorrow. Van der Beek, Henderson, and Twanzebe in particular, and obviously with recent discussions about David De Gea, and obviously more importantly the recent injury to Paul Pogba. It is going to be a very important opportunity for Henderson, and I do think he'll start, and I think it's also going to be a huge opportunity for Van der Beek, and they need to seize this opportunity to the best of their ability tomorrow. I really feel, we've spoken about this a number of times, Van der Beek has been very unfortunate. His best role is a number 10, and when you've got players like Pogba and Bruno that are very, very good and have been brilliant for, Bruno for a year and Pogba for 3 months, it's very difficult for a player like Van der Beek to get in. But this could be his opportunity now for him to be able to step up, and he really needs to step up, and he really needs to sort of grab that by the horns. I feel probably what I'd like to see is Matic. I feel that in a game like this where the pace needs to be dictated, I think that he is probably our best defensive midfielder, and one that will be able to dictate that play and be able to sort of tidy up, clear up, because West Ham will come at us. We've seen in the last few weeks they are a good side.
Yeah.
I think they're probably going to really want to get this as well, and fundamentally the best way they can do that, which they've seen in recent weeks, is come at us. And I think the best player to have in order to diffuse that situation in any way would be Matic.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. 1000% agree with that. I'm shocked we haven't seen Matic more regularly over the past, I want to say 3 weeks. I expected him to play a couple games, and I would then, the team sheet would come out and be like, wow, he's still not getting a game. So I wonder if Ollie's resting him for a moment like this. I would imagine so, especially because Pogba's injured now. Hama, Stu briefly talked about Martial coming back in the side. What do you think about that? I think I would agree with that in a game like this, to get his confidence back up. It's a quality side. It's a big match. It's an FA Cup tie. Do you think this is the right moment to, bring Martial back into the side and see if he's ready to perform?
Yeah, I agree with Stu on both that he needs to come in for some confidence and to try to help him get that mentality back that he can start scoring goals again. And also, I think Stu talked about it as well. Cavani's going to need a rest, right? I know we all love what he does, but he is, 33? He can't play game in, game out. So I think this is both an opportunity to rest Cavani and give Martial a chance to get confidence back. And I know you said it is a big game against a decent opponent, but I think that's even more of a reason, right? It gives him because I know he scored the 2 in the 9-0, but right, that wasn't really, that sure probably helped him feel good because he got in the back of the net. But if he comes in this game and performs, that's how he's going to start kickstarting his season again. And I just think he needs that type of opportunity, because if he can get the goals in an FA Cup game and help us move forward, then that's going to be something that's going to help him get going in the league as well.
No, fair enough. Fair enough. I agree. I would like to see Martial play at number 9 again. It's a good opportunity for him. Everyone knows he's one of my favorites. It's hard for me to keep, I'm being honest about it. You have to sometimes you have to admit that you have a little bit of bias towards a certain player. I want him to do really well because I think there's an amazing player there. And I think that he needs to look at the season and say, if I can get to 15, 16, 17 goals by the end of the season in all competitions, I can kind of redeem this season that started off so bad. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's what a professional footballer should be thinking in their head, about the next game, about the next opportunity. And hopefully he's thinking that way. And hopefully he gets a goal because we need some goals on our side again. Let's talk about the defense though. So much there was so much debate, on Twitter about De Gea, on Wall of Reds, we had a discussion, me, Mark, Stu, about De Gea, about Harry Maguire, who the biggest culprit was of that game. I think there needs to be. I definitely think De Gea he will be dropped in this game. Dropped, rested, whatever you want to call it. Dean Henderson is definitely the cup goalkeeper, so we're going to see him. The question is, if Dean performs well in this game, like really well in this game, what does Ollie do on the weekend? It's going to be really fascinating to see that. Same thing with what he decides to do with the center back pairing. Let's say Axel comes back in the side and he does really well, and we dominate West Ham while him and Harry Maguire are playing. What does Ollie do on the weekend? And these are all really interesting questions, and I'm excited to see what Ollie does with the squad. I think he's rotated really well this year. In that defense, though, do you think he's going to make 3 changes? I could see Alex Telles coming in. Stu, what are your feelings about that?
Conventional wisdom, and any coach will tell you at any level of football, the one areas you don't want to chop and change is your back 4 and your goalkeeper, but mainly your back 4, because that's really the bedrock of your team. So that's where the continuity is. I think you're absolutely right. I think Telles will come in. Luke Shaw's been fantastic the last few weeks, but I think Telles will come in. Wan-Bissaka will have to play. I suppose he could bring in I've forgotten the lad's name now. We haven't seen him for ages. Williams. Yeah, young Williams.
Mm-hmm.
But Maguire's going to be the constant. We know, and it's who he puts alongside Maguire will be quite interesting. I'm with you, Temi. 100%. I think Henderson will come in. At the weekend, he'll revert back to De Gea, Maguire and Lindelof, Shaw and Wan-Bissaka. That's what he will do. I don't see him changing it. But the bedrock of any good team is the defence. That's what breeds confidence. From your central midfielder upwards, your defence breeds confidence. Unfortunately, this season, our defence hasn't bred any kind of confidence of any length of time. And it has been a real issue for us. And I'm not really quite sure whether Ollie knows his best defensive partnership. I don't know if he thinks it is Lindelof and Maguire. He's played the most of the season, so I suppose conventional wisdom on that one would suggest it is. But I think every fan around the globe who supports Manchester United will have a completely different viewpoint. Everybody thinks Bailly and Maguire are the best 2. But we don't have that luxury. So I'm struggling with that, because looking into our youth, we've got Mengi, who we know is half decent, but he's obviously had a derby. I don't know. I think all his choices are so limited. It's hard to know what he is going to do, which I know doesn't help for entertaining chat.
Right.
But sometimes you can only deal with absolutes, and you can only deal with reality. And the reality is we are struggling at defence. So that would be my take on it. Not entertaining and not interesting.
No,
it's my take.
No, you're what I think what you're saying is some of the stuff that, I don't want to say casual fan, because that sounds so elitist, but fans who maybe didn't play football at a higher level or don't think that deeply about it. The back four, the changes back four is to me what costed us that Sheffield United game. I firmly believe that making 2 changes in the back four kind of just shook the side, and I don't think people think about stuff like that enough. Let's get into the comments real quick. I see so many questions coming in. Jamie asked, would you sign Sergio Ramos at the end of the season? Great question. Do you expect to see more of Donny in the coming weeks because of Pogba's injury? Another great question. Matic plus Van de Beek. I'm going to answer all of these questions. Are going to get answered at the end of the show, or we're going to get to all of them as much as we can. Jamie says Martial will start tomorrow as the number 9. I would agree with that. John Gray says, do you think Lindelof and Baye, when fit, will be a good defensive partnership, or do they need Maguire? Great question, and I have a great opinion on that. Lindelof and Baye were my favorite partnership post Rio and Vidic. So many things that we're going to talk about. I love the fan interaction. Everyone make sure to hit. Somebody let me know how many likes we're on. I want to get to at least 25. At least 25 likes. Everyone make sure to retweet it if you're watching it on Facebook, if you're watching it on Periscope or whatever. Make sure to go to youtube.com/allforunited and hit that like button for us so I can ask a question at the end of this show, and you get your name put in a hat to win some great merchandise from Football Town Apparel. I said that really well this time. Like, I said that amazing. I deserve a round of applause for that. Seriously.
I'll give you a golf clap.
Yeah, the golf clap. I appreciate it. Mark, I want to get back to you. Stu mentioned the defense. I know I just mentioned De Gea being potentially dropped, obviously definitely for this game. But do you think it's something that we should see? Against who are we playing at the weekend? Goodness, I can't believe I just forgot. But
it's Albion, isn't it? We got West Brom, I think.
At the weekend.
Yeah, I think
West Brom. Okay.
It is.
If Henderson does well against West Ham,
Yeah.
if you think he does well against West Ham, do you think he should stay in the side over the weekend?
Yeah, it's a very difficult one, isn't it? I mean, Henderson's just signed a big new contract. He very much staked a claim. We mentioned this on Waller Reds last night. He was in a team that did very well last season, but he would have had a whole host of shots and opportunities against him, and he conceded less than David De Gea. So, and this is what I meant earlier when I mentioned his name alongside Donny, this is a perfect opportunity for him to step up, do really well, and then I can imagine he's a lot more vocal than David De Gea just in everyday life, and then it would be up to him to then just say, look, every time I've played, he has been pretty good. He's made 1 or 2 mistakes, but you kind of expect that being young in a huge club like Manchester United, and only getting a certain amount of minutes. So if he plays well tomorrow, and this is the great luxury that Ollie has is, he's if David De Gea is injured or isn't on form, we've got Henderson that can come in and do a very commendable job, and I feel like tomorrow is a real opportunity. He's got to grab this, and this isn't me talking negatively about David De Gea. I like him, I love him. He's been a fantastic servant to us, but at some point the line's got to be drawn. And if Henderson has a good game tomorrow, then he has absolutely every right to sit that Ollie down and say, look, what more have I got to do? And it's just a case of playing well. If you're playing well, not making mistakes, then you're going to stay in goal longer. Yeah. So I really feel that this is an opportunity for him tomorrow. With regards to the defence, Stu is absolutely spot on. Yet again, might I add, that your defence should be have the most solidarity in it, and defenses win title, that old cliche and all this sort of thing. You need to have some sort of solidarity there and familiarity. As soon as someone is taken out, or rotation is made, it's difficult. You are used to the defense is very different to the midfield and attack in as much that you are used to the players next to you and you are used to knowing exactly how they're going to react because it's a partnership for a reason, right? I'm not talking about the fullbacks so much. Generally speaking, they'll know how to defend, they'll know about spatial awareness, and they'll know how to get forward. Okay, but with the defensive partnership, it's very, very difficult. And just when you think that United are able to get some consistency going, and with Bailly and Maguire early in the season, you're thinking, oh,
Yep.
okay, you get overexcited, you sort of latch onto it a bit too much, and then they let us down again. Now, that's not me being critical, but that's what's happened. And at some point, I think we know. I was talking to Phil Brown earlier that. I think we know that United are very much in for a centre back. I feel that Harry Maguire and Lindelof are very, very similar players. Lindelof probably a better ball playing centre back, okay? And in order to accommodate those two players, and that would be your rotation when you need rest and or someone's injured, you need a quick centre back to partner that person. So I unfortunately Twanzebe not getting enough minutes for whatever reason. He was phenomenal when he played against PSG, but since then on his couple of appearances he's made one or two mistakes, and obviously that's going to put you in a very difficult position. And unfortunately, being he's made of glass, and you can't get a run of games. If he was fit all the time, I absolutely guarantee you it would be Maguire by week in, week out, and Lindelof would be there for the rotation instead of Maguire.
This is all very fair points. Very fair points. But I just this is why I always was so hesitant on the Bailly. I don't want to call it hype, but excitement that came back. When he got a run of games, because you just know it, and it sounds awful. It sounds awful, but you just know it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when he's gonna. When have we seen him get a run of 15 games in the past 3 years? I can't remember.
Well, he's only had a maximum of 5 games now this season in a row since 2017, which is not good enough.
So it's just the best. Lindelof's better than him because he can play. It sounds dumb, but being injury prone all the time is just it affects the side so much, and you can't trust a player like that. That's why Ollie, I think, is going to persist. He's going to persist with Lindelof and Maguire. Hama, what do you feel about the rotation? Do you think that De Gea should take have a rest at worst? I don't want to say drop, but maybe take a few games out of the side to kind of recoup.
Well, I'm going to say something that I commented, and I don't know what type of reaction it's going to get. So for this game first, yes, I think De Gea needs a rest. I think he knows he made some mistakes last game, so mentally as well. And also, I want to see Henderson get some more playing time and see what more if he can do. But something that I commented on the wall of Reds, but it was early on because I had to go to work. I think the transition from Henderson to De Gea is a little bit closer than some people think.
I agree.
Yeah, and I think Henderson has shown that he has what it takes to step in. And again, like Mark said, right, he's made a couple mistakes, but he's young, and that's going to happen. But I think overall that transition's happening, and I think I'll say within the next season to 2 seasons, Henderson will be more or less the first choice guy. And De Gea is probably going to start looking to go somewhere.
Yeah.
Wow. Again, very fascinating. I mean, when you give Henderson a contract that big, before he really makes a relative stake in the side, I think he's making more money than Bruno right now. I'm not even exaggerating. But
also that's what it is, though, right? Like you don't give somebody a contract like that who you don't plan on giving the reins in the future.
Yeah.
Well, I'd love to agree with you, Hammer, but I think we've seen over the last few years that happened with Phil Jones and a couple other people. But in this instance, with Ollie, since he's come in, and obviously with the restructure of contracts and recruiting, I absolutely wholeheartedly agree with you. I think that this time around we can confidently say, comfortably, that I think that transition is very much in the path too, and I think that he
Yeah.
will be playing.
I remember early in the season, I think it was before we even played a Premier League game, Ollie or maybe it was against Luton Town. Ollie was like, Dean is going to be the number one for Manchester United. He said one day. I think that was the exact verbiage. And to say that so confidently for somebody who's played less than 5 games at the time for the club, it's very, like, I think to Hama's point, I think it's very indicative of what he's thinking, short term as well as long term. Everybody, we appreciate you so much. We're gonna get to Q&A really, really soon. Everyone, go to youtube.com/all4united right now. Hit that like button. I don't know how many likes we're on currently. Let me go check really quick. But we want to get to 25 likes. We're going to do the Q&A pretty much right now. Actually, no, before we do Q&A, I'm going to go around the horn and I'm going to ask for score predictions for the game and what everybody's feeling. But everyone still drop some questions below and let me know what you guys are feeling. Anything Manchester United related is going to be asked. We're on like only 15 likes. Let's get it up. Let's get like 10, 12 more likes going. Everyone who's watching, hit the like button right now. Hit the subscribe button. We're getting closer and closer to 2.5K. You feel me? So support us. Support the movement, like I always say. Real quick, Stu, I know you wanted to touch on the De Gea topic real quick, but right after that, in the defense, but right after that, share your thoughts on what you think the score is going to be for the FA Cup game.
I just want to say on defence, really, and Mark was absolutely on the nail. Lindelof and Maguire are very, very similar. A good centre-half pairing, you've almost got to have the polar opposites. You've got to have a Rolls-Royce and you've got to have a banger. And the banger is a player that's good in the air, solid, good in the tackle, tight marker. And then your Rolls-Royce is a player that brings the ball out. He's a bit more graceful. Manchester United have had a tradition of that through the 70s. We had McQueen and Buchan. Through the 90s, it was Pallister and Bruce, that type of thing, Vidic and Ferdinand. So that is our biggest problem at the minute. Even when Bailly plays, it doesn't still offer us that type of combination. And that's what we need. So whatever Ollie does in the summer, he's going to have to look, and if Maguire is going to be our number one, which he is, he's going to have to look at a player to complement Maguire. I don't know whether Upamecano is the answer to that. I don't know whether Sergio Ramos is the answer to that either, but we'll get to that a bit later, I would imagine. Score prediction, I think we're going to win 2-0, and I'm going to go for Martial to open, and I'm going to go for Greenwood.
Wow, okay. Well, very, very, very. I do like that. I love the sound of that. Hama, let me know. Give me some final thoughts for about 30 seconds, and then let me know what your score prediction is.
Yeah, I'll just also say real quick too on the defense. I agree. I think it's also something that's been in my head that I think there's certain positions where we're really close to finishing the starting 11, even though I know they're frustrating right now, and that's one of them. We get that center back to pair with Maguire, then Bailly and Lindelof drop to the bench, and I think we can all agree that would be some nice rotation for center back. But yeah, my final thoughts on the game, I think, and I hope that they come out pissed off. Because we should have won that game. We should have won that game 3-1. 2 of those goals were sloppy. Only that one goal that Hamas got was impressive because they worked it up and got the ball to him on the top of the box on his left foot. Right? We should have won 3-1. I hope they come out pissed off, and I hope they come out with an attitude to take the game and play like Manchester United is supposed to play. And score-wise, I'm going to agree with Stu and go 2-0. I want to see Martial open it. But as much as I like the Greenwood one, I want to see, and I hope he starts. I think Van de Beek's going to get the second one.
Wow. Okay.
Because it's that movement that he has, and I think it's going to start working for him sooner or later.
I like that. I like that take. Mark, give me your final thoughts real quick and your score prediction.
Yeah, I should imagine that Ollie has probably had a very strongly worded meeting with them all after the game against Everton. And I hope that they can have a quick look at themselves, not too drastically, and be able to come out and have the fire in their belly in order to turn that around, in order to prove the point, in order to, win the game comfortably and sort of retaliate in the way that we want to see. And I do believe they would do that. For me, I've got to stay consistent. Earlier, I said that I believe we will win 3-1. And I think the first goal scorer will be Martial as well.
Wow. I love this confidence that we're having in my guy Tony. It brings me a lot of goodwill and happiness. I don't even know what time is the game tomorrow? I'm thinking about it right now.
3:15, I think.
Just you gotta love those.
3:15 your time, isn't it? Is that 8:15 ours?
Yeah, our time. Yeah, 8:15 your guys' time.
It's 2:30 my time.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, I know. It's like
while Stu and I are having a cup of tea and some golden syrup, I think.
Yeah,
I got a bottle of that in my fucking cupboard right now.
Yeah. We'll see what happens tomorrow. But no, everyone, thank you so much for we've done the preview portion. Now we're gonna get to the fun part that I've been waiting for, the Q&A portion. We're gonna do that for about 20 minutes. I'm really excited about this. I saw some great questions. I can't wait to answer this one. A question for everyone. I think that's the last one I'm gonna ask. Stuart's question: first game you saw that got you supporting Man United. I have such a great story about that. It's just like it's like a kid out of a candy shop. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, let's start from the top. I think the first question that got my eye was Jamie Gretton's question. Thank you so much for dropping your questions, guys. Question: would you sign Sergio Ramos at the end of the season? I'm going to go around the horn. I will start. I don't first of all, I'm going to say I don't like doing transfer speculations. Like, I think a lot of people get really excited. They love to see on Twitter, oh my goodness, we might sign this player, we might sign that player. Until some really solid sources start talking about transfers, I usually just keep it out of my head. But that being said, I would absolutely 100% welcome Sergio Ramos at the club. And let me tell you why. I'll be really quick. I think Hama said this before. I agree with it. I don't think that any of our three best center backs, Harry Maguire, Victor Lindelof, or Eric Bailly, can be the best center back on a title winning side. I personally don't believe that. I think they need somebody who's at a higher level. I think all of them are very good center backs, but I think they need somebody who's better, more experienced, next to them that can kind of, make up for their slight weaknesses that kind of hold their game back. And I think Sergio Ramos, obviously he's older, he's 35 years old. You're thinking, why the hell would you bring a 35-year-old in? He's probably declined. This season, if you look at what he's doing, and last season, he's still one of the best center backs in the world. He's rash. If you bring him into the club, you should expect one or two, reckless red cards. But outside of that, he still provides leadership that we don't have in the side currently. He brings experience, multiple time Champions League winner. The energy and aura of winning he would bring to a club would change the dynamic of it. Would only make Harry Maguire better. It would make Victor Lindelof better, and it would make Eric Bailly better. And I think that experience, Tuan Zabi, it would make him better. I think that type of experience is something we need on the side. I spoke for a really long time. Stu, what do you think about that?
Do you know what I love about Sergio Ramos is shithousery. He's as sly as it goes. And the reason I like it is because in my playing days, I was exactly the same. If you got long hair, Hammer, I'd be tugging on your hair, mate. I'd be kneeing you in the back of the knee. I'd be doing everything, talking about you. You name it, I'll be doing it to put you off your game. Anything I could do. And that is what Sergio Ramos does. There's only one slight issue with that. You can't get away with it with VAR today. You just can't. And as good a defender he is, and as hard as a defender he is, and he will certainly organise our back four. It's certainly organise our midfield, and it's certainly organise our goalkeeper. He's a red card waiting to happen. He really is. If he could come, and again, I know from experience because I found it very, very difficult to change the way that I played. I was just 100% at it all the time. If he could adapt his game to the Premier League, where he's going to have, and I know they dive all the time in Spain, but it's even worse in certainly in the UK in the Premier League. If he can adapt his game, calm down, and show that maturity and the absolute world-class player that we know is in there, then I'd sign him. I just have my doubts.
I completely understand those doubts. I look at, right before I go to Mark, I look at the likes of Thiago Silva for Chelsea, who came in with a lot of scrutiny because, he is of that ilk, older, more experienced, has been there, done that, won Champions League trophies, won league titles. And I think this year he's been their best defender on that team. I mean, if you watch Chelsea, I think he has been their best defender across all, right back, center back, whatever. He's been the most consistent player for them in that back line, and he's helped steady that ship. That was a very, very shaky Chelsea defense last season. And I think Sergio Ramos could do the same for us. And I think we're ahead of ahead of Chelsea in our project. They're trying to get back into top 4 consistently. We're right now second. If we get 1 or 2 more leaders, I think it puts us right there with City and Liverpool. Mark, what do you think about that question?
First of all, I think Harry, Bailly, and Lindelof are all good enough to be part of a Premier League side. Now, let me take you back to the end of Fergie's reign. He had Johnny Evans, Smalling, and Jones. Okay, so they are very much good enough. It's just the partner that they get beside them. Now, I feel that probably they will go after Pau Torres, plays for Valencia. Very, very good. Anyway, Sergio Ramos. Now, what Real Madrid don't do or tend to do as much as United have done over the years is keep on their players to instill that leadership, to tell them about their DNA and to coerce and support players that are coming into the squad or at the squad now. Now, whilst Ramos doesn't know the Manchester United DNA or the way of things, he does bring a huge amount of leadership. Now, you've all touched upon his wages. That would be a huge stumbling block, and I think that Ed Woodward now knows that you can't break that wage structure. So that would be the only problem for me. But he does bring a huge amount of leadership. And on the point of Stu's comment about red cards, it's not unknown for a defender to get sent off. It's okay. It does happen at times. And we are fortunate, to be honest, not to see too many sending offs in the last couple of years. But I think that with someone like him, and I used this example last night, he probably would have got sent off in that final bit. He would have done something like that. He would have been there to make sure that ball didn't go in the back of the net. And he might have got sent off at that point. And that's what you do need at the club. And bearing in mind, if he did come to the club and he does get sent off, we've still got the 3 centre backs that we utilise now, and there's no problem with that. So I think that we do need that type of player to come in with that leadership and be able to instill a few of those attributes into other players, particularly in the centre, in the defensive part, department.
Okay, fair enough. Real question. Fred Ward says we need to be targeting hungry players who are yet to reach their peak, not those past theirs. Also, we need a pacey center back to complement Maguire. I don't think Ramos is the answer. I'll respond to that very briefly, but before I do that, I'm gonna get to Hama real quick. What do you think about Ramos?
So I understand who was that? Fred who said that. What he's saying, but in Ramos, I know this is going to sound crazy too. I'm looking at it more so from the leadership side that we've been talking about. This team, one of the biggest things that I would critique this team on is their mentality. They seem to be too easily affected by something great happening and something terrible happening. Mm-hmm. Right. And I know, and I do think they're going to come out with a reaction in this game, but it shouldn't take something like what happened in the last game for you to play the way that I'm expecting them to play tomorrow. And I think somebody like Ramos is going to come in and teach them how to remain at the same level no matter what happens. It doesn't matter if you kick your rival out in the FA Cup, and it doesn't matter if you're playing a relegation side team. You come out with the same mentality to get the win and to get the points because there's an end goal, not just looking good in the moment.
No, that is all fair. I think so. It looks like we kind of all agree a way around. We would do it if it was, if it made sense financially. I would say. I think we agree to that. Back to the Fred Woodward comment. I wanted to touch on this because, yes, I do agree we need to target hungry players who are yet to reach their peak. But I think in our side right now, we have tons of those players. If you really think about it, Rashford, Martial, Greenwood, Bruno. Pogba's. He's won trophies, but he's still relatively young. What is he? 26, 27. Maguire is 27, 28. Lindelof, 26, 27. We don't have enough people who are seasoned and experienced, in that side. And that's why I think we see things like the Everton result, happen. And we can't put, just put games to bed. We're going to be much quicker with these questions. That was a first of all amazing first question to start off the preview Q&A show. What a great question. I'm going to get to some more of these in the comments real quick. Let's see. More of a topical question for us, and what's going on the side. Do you expect to see more of Donny in the coming weeks because of Pogba's injury? I'll keep it real short so the guys can go on. The rest of them will keep it short as well. I would say probably not. I don't think in Ollie's head Donny's a Pogba replacement. I think he's Bruno's cover. I truly believe that's what he thinks. And I don't think he wants to consistently play Donny in that double pivot or whatever you want to call it. Or play him in the holding midfield role. I think he wants him to play further up the pitch. And we have a lot of options further up the pitch. So I think that's where Donny's competition lies, not necessarily in that midfield partnership. Stu, what say you?
I'm a bit with you, Temi. We should see him more. I don't think that we will. And the reason I'd like to see him more, he just adds that little bit of calmness. He's very, very neat and tidy on the ball, very quick with it. He's a give and go. And he creates a lot of space. And the last game that he came on, forgive me, it might have been Liverpool. I think it was Liverpool, actually. Yeah. He made so much space in the 18-yard box, and we just never passed it. We just went left or right. We didn't look for him. So short answer is we probably won't, but I hope we do.
Yep. Mark, what do you think about it?
I'm going to go against the grain, and I think we absolutely will. I think that what we've seen more recently is, even though we're playing a double pivot, it doesn't actually work like a double pivot so much, and we tend to see someone venture forward a little bit more just behind the number 10. And I think that that's what Donny, it's not his best role, his is a number 10, but that's what we will see from him. So I think if we've got the cover in Matic, McTominay to a certain extent, or Fred, I think that we will see much more of Donny van der Beek over the next few weeks with him and Bruno venturing further forward. And I think that's what Man United are intending to do. As soon as they get in their defensive midfielder that can do both Fred and McTominay's role, we will see two in front of them. And that's why Donny's there, Pogba's there, and Van der Beek and Bruno's there.
I hope you are right about that.
So do I.
Yeah, Hama, what do you feel?
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with Mark. I think we are gonna see more of him. I was also gonna be a little stupid about it. Say technically we are gonna see more of him with Pogba's injury because we barely get to see him now. But no, I think with Pogba's injury, he's gonna have an opportunity to play a role similar to what Pogba was playing when in his good form recently. And I think it's going to suit him. Obviously not, like Mark said, not to his number 10 role fully, but it's going to give him those opportunities to get in an advanced position and make those runs that he has. And if he can get an opportunity to do it with Bruno on the field, Bruno's going to find him. Bruno's going to get those balls into the box when he makes those runs into the box.
Ooh,
spot on.
Again, this is why you get a bunch of smart United fans on the same stream, and there's not really many arguments. It's pretty straightforward.
But it was 2 against 2 there. But yeah, that's what you said.
But I feel like we're all thinking the same way.
I was going to say we all want Donny to play, don't we?
We all want Donny to play. Exactly. I think
true.
This is a fun question. Top 3 United signings post Fergie. That is a tough one. I'm gonna you can take your time and think about it. I'm gonna go. Obviously, Bruno, I think has to be in there. I don't whatever number. I think he has to be in there. Ooh, just in terms of a season's impact.
Great question.
I love Zlatan.
Great question.
I love Zlatan's single season he had. I'm not saying for what the totality of his career was, but just his impact in that season to me was amazing. Oh man, I love Ander Herrera. That's one of my personal favorites, but no one cares about that. And I'll just Paul Pogba, one of my favorite players. Price, not a great price. In hindsight, wow. I'm gonna let the guys go. I'm gonna think about it. I'm gonna put Stu on the spot. That is a great question. I'm gonna leave it up there right now. Oh my god.
Yeah, I'm struggling with that one. I really am. You see, I quite like Ander Herrera. Great player. He was just brilliant. He was. I don't know what happened. I wish we could have somehow, sorted his contract so he could have stayed, because he's one of those that's through and through at Manchester United. He loved the club. I've got to agree with Zlatan. I just think he kind of. We got him too late, obviously, same with Cavani, but his aura and his presence is just something. Well, only Eric Cantona would probably have a bigger aura and a bigger presence around the club than what Zlatan did. My last one. I'm just trying to think of somebody that absolutely really excited me and got me off the edge of my seat. And I thought, oh my God, I cannot believe we've signed him. You've got to put Fernandes in there, I know.
Mm-hmm.
But Fernandes is only 12 months into his journey with Man United. And as great as it's been, is he going to be the same player in 3 years? Yes, we all know that he is, but he's only 12 months into his journey. So I need to think about the other one. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, this is why
too good a question.
This is why we started the Q&A show. We wanted you to stump the panel. This is a great question. I'm thinking about Ander Herrera.
I've got some great ones for you.
Please, go ahead, Mark.
Okay, so first and foremost, Bruno Fernandes has categorically been the best signing since Cristiano Ronaldo. Okay, he is brilliant and he's been phenomenal. And whilst the comparisons are being made about Eric Cantona, there's a lot more that needs to be desired. He will get there. I'm absolutely sure of it. He has had an enormous impact. Now, my other two are Ander Herrera. He is a brilliant player. He was very underrated, and he was a huge loss for us. We would not be looking at that defensive midfielder role playing a double pivot if he was in the team. It's no coincidence that when Ander Herrera wasn't going to sign a contract, Ollie had to take him out of the team and we lost our form. When Ollie came in, we were magnificent, okay? When Ander Herrera didn't play on that very first game, we were very poor, and there's no coincidence there, okay? My third player that I will never, ever forgive Mourinho for selling is Daley Blind. He is a phenomenal player who's very intelligent, and again, he would have been a great defensive cover, very quick, and also the intelligence was there, and he would have filled that DM role incredibly well too.
Good shout.
Real quick, what are you feeling? I know it's a tough question.
Yeah, that is a tough question. I will say the Daley Blind one blew my mind because somehow I forgot about Daley Blind.
He went way too soon. Brilliant player.
Didn't he? He did. Yeah.
Damn, I'm gonna have to go with. I know Stu said it's only been 12 months, but Bruno has to be one of them in there. I'm gonna go with Zlatan for his impact, because I think if he didn't get that stupid ass knee injury, he would have helped us do some things in the next season, in that season where he got hurt. And then the last one, man, it's hard, man. I might, you know what? I think I'm going to steal Marks and say Blind, because I do agree he was a brilliant player. Because I can't think of somebody who was like that to that level, and we let him go for, I don't know why we let him go.
Because Mourinho didn't want him, and he's a fool.
Yeah, no, the Daily Blend was a good shout. I'm glad that the panel loves Ander Herrera as much as I did, because I thought there was just a group. It just felt like there was a segment of United fans that just didn't get it, and I'm just like, I'm looking, and I'm like,
can you imagine if you had?
not see what he's offering to the team.
Can you imagine if you had Ander on the pitch now screaming like he
Yes.
did to the players that we have now?
Yes,
That's exactly the leadership, the tenacity, he would give you 110% every game, and that's exactly what we're missing.
I look at Fred now. I'm like, is Fred better than Ander Herrera? No.
Technically, probably, but as a DM, absolutely not.
Yeah, that's the thing too. We don't need technical play. We got enough technical. We need somebody who's just gonna go in there and not break people's legs. That's fucked up. But you know what I mean.
Yeah. Three worst signings. This is an interesting one.
Crikey! How long's the list?
Worst. Yeah.
That's a tough one. I mean, you could go Falcao, Di Maria, Sanchez. Sanchez has to be the worst.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Di Maria just because he's a prick.
Schneiderlin disappointed me because I feel like he started really well, and then it just all of a sudden just disappeared after felt like 4 or 5 months. This is I see another positive. I'd say Bruno, Zlatan, and Lukaku. Lukaku's a polarizing one, a very polarizing one, depending on who you talk to. I don't think we should have sold him. But a lot of people would say, his first touch, piss poor, whatever. His first touch looks pretty damn great now. It really does. It really does. Joe says, how do you do, lads? Looking great. I have a question. Who is your favorite goalkeeper in between Schmeichel and Van der Sar? It has to be Tim Howard for me. It's just, I'm from the US, so it has to be Tim Howard.
It's got to be Massimo Taibbi for me.
Really?
The 3 times that he played for us. No, I'm only kidding. Do you know? I quite liked Tim Howard, actually, if I'm being honest. I think he's the only goalkeeper ever to play in the Premier League that had Tourette's, didn't he? And he had to have tablets before he played a game. Although I quite like De Gea to have Tourette's quite right at this point in time.
Start cursing at people.
Yeah, and I'm not having a go. And please, let me just be clear. I'm just saying I would like De Gea to be more vocal and get at our defenders a little bit more. I'm not saying anything about that particular illness.
Of course.
So let me make that clear. So I think I would actually go Tim Howard. I really would. So, Tim
is a legend. Tim is like one of our absolute heroes here. So
I was disappointed with Bosnich. I thought Bosnich could have done a job for us.
Yeah.
As I was disappointed with him. Ben Foster disappointed with. So Tim Howard for me.
Wow. So who's the comments are going crazy. I absolutely love it. How many likes are we on? How many likes are we on? We should be getting.
Hang on, I'm just gonna have a look.
We're only on 16.
Oh, wow.
Only 16.
People. Hit the like
don't want that.
Hit the like button. Hit the like button. I might still do it just because you guys are nice. Tim Howard in 2014, one of the best goalkeeping performances I've ever seen in my life. For me, it's my personal favorite, obviously, because of what it meant to, the country and everything. Even though we still lost, we're at 17 right now. Everyone, keep it up. Let me go to another. I want to go to Stuart's question. It was definitely a great one. First game you saw that got you supporting Manchester United. This is a great question. I'll start. It's a very brief one. When I was for us in the US, they didn't used to play Premier League live on television. You know what I'm saying? So we would get the odd game. Obviously, we get World Cups and stuff like that. And I had a guy I looked up to when I was real young, and he was a Manchester United fan. He was from Nigeria, and I used to watch games with him, but I never, I was younger. I would say, how old was I? 06, like 10, 11, something like that. And the first game I truly that got me just locked in was obviously the the '08 Champions League final. I know people are like, "Oh my God, you're not, you started your fandom so late." That's what hooked me, and that's what got me, loving the club, going back and looking at the history, watching the games that we're talking about, with Bosnich and Tim Howard, and just going back and learning about different players. It's '08 Champions League final will always stick with me forever and ever and ever because it made me a Manchester United fan. So that's me. Stu, what say you?
Well, before I tell you my story, the television was colour at the time. It wasn't black and white. So let me just be clear about that.
Stu, I'm pleased to know that now. I'll be able to sleep well tonight. Thank you.
Good. It was actually 1977, and it was away to Wolverhampton Wanderers at the Old Molineux. And Stuart Pearson, Martin Buchan, we had the Greenough twins. And we got beat 2-1 that day. Kenny Hibbert, I think, scored. I can't remember who played up top. I think it might have been Willie Carr on the wing. I think he got the second. But anyway, we got beat 2-1. But my uncle took me, and I've been a United fan ever since. And I was the only kid in my school. You feel sorry for me now, that had a Man United strip when I was 8 years old. Everyone else was Wolves and Liverpool at the time.
Wow.
And I was hooked. I was hooked ever since. And so I've been following Manchester United since I was 7 years old.
Wow. That awesome story. Mark, real quick, what was the game that got you hooked?
So it wasn't any game in particular. So to Joe's excitement, my uncle, who's Irish, he's been a massive Manchester United fan for a long time. I think he's 60 now, and I think he must have been, when he was 3, 4, 5 years old. I used to watch on VHS, funny enough, the United season reviews a lot. And when I was 6 years old in 1997, I went to see Manchester United versus Villa at Old Trafford, where Dwight York was still playing for Villa, and we drew 0-0, unfortunately. But I was 6 years old, and it just all stemmed from there, really.
Wow,
Great story.
That's a great story.
Shit.
Hama, what are you?
All right.
You?
Well, so Temi, I'm on somewhere on the realm of Temi starting late, and after those two stories, this is gonna sound really shitty. But what I will say, I don't think it was a certain game for me either. So growing up, I played football, right, and I didn't really have people around me in my family who were into watching shit and as football as much as I was. So I preferred playing over watching. So when I was young, I never really watched football. If you gave me a choice to go play a pickup game or go actually play somewhere for like a team or watch on TV, I was gonna go play. But when I did start getting into football, was coming to the end, the last couple of seasons of Sir Alex, and watching that football, and then just because I've been sports like obsessed for as long as I have, I went back and started watching old film. I guess not necessarily on VHS like Mark, but like watching old things of back in the day, and I was just like, this is who I want to support, and that's just how I just kept going with it.
Love it. What a great way to end the Q&A show. Such amazing stories, different cultures, different people loving the same club. It's amazing. It's amazing how a ball being kicked by 22 guys at the same time can get you hooked and make you want to be emotional and stuff. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. I can't believe it. Are we on 20 likes? Let's get to 20 likes. If we can get to 20 likes, then I will ask this question.
Yeah, get to 20 likes. Do one more question, and then we can ask them the apparel question.
I saw a question.
Let me see if I can find it.
Somebody said, what are your favorite players in the last 11 years, I think.
Well, let me see. Let me see if I can
last
find
11 years, and that got me thinking as well.
Yeah. Let's see. I'm trying to see if I can find that one. Okay. Somebody, if you drop the question, let me know. If you drop the question, let me know. Do y'all win the bet tomorrow, guys? What do you think? I would say no.
I'd like to see it, but
I think
I'd
you're
like
more
to see it.
likely. I think you're more likely to see it in Europa, but I wouldn't put it past him to be on the bench tomorrow. And I think it could be a good opportunity if we are 2-0 up, 3-0 up, then you play him. Otherwise, we won't see him at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The past 11 years. That's
Damn.
so 2009.
9.
No,
Wow,
9.
2010 really, isn't it?
yeah,
Yeah,
10.
yeah,
Technically,
2010 on. Technically, 2010 on. That's a tough one. That makes you really think. I don't know. That's a really tough one. I don't know. I can't. I
Top
don't know
3.
Top 3.
Okay, I'll go first.
Go first.
Robin van Persie. That summer, I remember very vividly reading transfer news every day before the realms of Twitter and getting extremely excited about Robin van Persie joining our club. And he obviously did that summer, and that season was a fantastic season, and he really was the focal man that got us that title. So I feel if you're looking at between those times before with the ones we've spoken about, Robin van Persie. My second one, Dimitar Berbatov. Now he got a lot of slate. That guy. One of my best mates is a massive Spurs fan, and he's been to a number of Spurs games. And he always tells me, we converse about it many times after a few drinks, of how wonderful a player he was, and it's the best player he's ever seen live. And I've got to be honest, whilst he back in the days when things were great and we used to moan at the little things like that, he was an incredible, technically gifted player.
So this is a very good question. Actually,
That was the question I was thinking
you
about.
can sign any United player. So we're at 22.
Yeah.
We're at 22 likes. So we've gotten to over 20. But real quick, we'll answer this. You can sign any United player from the last 11 years to improve your team, playing at the level they were at the time. Which season and who is it? I'm trying to think of. Definitely no defenders we signed.
Really good question.
Definitely no
one.
Good question.
Definitely no defenders we signed.
I would join Mark in Van Persie and Berbatov.
Yeah.
I think Berbatov was an absolute Rolls Royce of a player. I love
effortless.
If we could get 20,
I said an effortless.
Yes.
If we could get 26-year-old Nemanja Matic, I would do that right now on this side. I would, if we could get a 26-year-old, 27-year-old Matic, I would. That would be a dream, because I think people forget how great of a player he was, a league title winner with Chelsea, unfortunately. But he was a rock, especially in his from that 25 to 30 range. He truly was a brilliant player. He's still and when he gets a slight run of games, he can perform for this team right now. So I would probably say a younger Matic and a younger Mata. I'd welcome that in this side again. What say you, gentlemen? That's our last question. Then I'll ask the question. We're running a little over now.
I'd be a little bit controversial, but I'd like the Dortmund version of Mkhitaryan.
Yeah,
because he was on a different level playing for Dortmund. He was, but he never replicated that for us, and it's a real shame. But we've had that with Kagawa as well. We had issues with Kagawa. A player that I'd love to bring back would be Park Ji-sung. I think he falls outside. He falls outside that realm, but just for sheer workmanship and a utility player, I'd love to have him back into our squad.
I love it.
I just think he was brilliant, and Fergie used to trust him all the time. He used to trust him in the big games. So, that would be my thoughts.
Hammer, what say you? And we'll be quick about it because I want to ask this question.
Yeah. I mean, I think it would have to be, if we're going to do a specific season. I know I'm just biting off the two of them earlier, but I think Van Persie in the center brings some type of mentality that this club is missing as well. like we wouldn't need Cavani right now. You know, like he would be doing what we need in that middle spot.
Yeah, no, that's all fair points. All fair points. Everyone, thank you so much. What a great start to the Q&A show. So many good comments. So many good people joining with us. Really quickly.
Have you seen Joe's comment?
Mark, what's the question?
No, so I don't know whether they'll say great minds think alike, or in this case, stupid ones. But Joe O'Neill has said the player that I would absolutely have back. Looking at the moment in time, a defensive midfielder, Michael Carrick, he would be perfect.
Yeah, no, 100%. Who doesn't love Michael Carrick? I mean, what a wonderful player. What a wonderful player.
Have you seen Joe's message about the United Dream Team?
Oh, let me see.
I posted it in the private chat.
Oh, that's hilarious. Let me see. Well, what position would you all play in our all-female dream team? Temi is our leading center forward. Stu would be our no-nonsense center back with a flair. Mark
I was going to suggest I was going to be the cheerleader, but
oh, that's hilarious. That's hilarious.
That's a good one.
Step in a center back real quick.
Let me ask this question really quick. I'm going to double check it really quickly. Who was the first goal scorer in our last game against West Ham? Who was the first goal scorer in our last game against West Ham? So this season, it was a very memorable goal. I'll say that, very memorable goal. Everyone, get in the comments right now. Answer the question. Very memorable goal. Very important goal for the season. I think one of the biggest, actually probably, I won't say the biggest goal, but one of the biggest goals of the season. Yes. People are dropping the answers in. Pogba. One more person. Yes, I'm gonna write the names down. So Fred has a great chance to win this merchandise.
Fred, Stuart, Joe, Jacob, and Jockey, by the looks.
Yeah. Fred, Joe, I'm not putting your name down, so I'm just kidding, bro.
Ben then.
Jacob, yep. And then I see Ben and Jockey. Yes, all of you will get a chance to win some great gear. That Pogba goal, what a goal. That was one of the goals of the season. Absolute wonder strike. I thought he was having an excellent, he was playing well before then, but that was a season, I don't want to say season saving, but just a crucial goal to kind of drag us back from a tough position. So Paul Pogba, he will be missed in the side, in my opinion. Excited to see what we're going to do against West Ham tomorrow. Everyone, make sure to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Thank you so much for joining our first preview Q&A show. It ran a little bit long. I'll do better next time to keep it brief. But thank you so much again. My guy Stu, my guy Hama, my guy Mark.
Pleasure.
You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. We appreciate
Pleasure,
for all the fans in the comments who always support us. We appreciate y'all so much. Jacob, you said you're already in the draw. No, you can be in the draw more than once, Jacob. You can be in the draw more than once. If you keep answering questions correctly, you have a great chance to you have a better chance to win merchandise from Football Town Apparel. Thank you so much, everyone. We will all talk to you guys very, very shortly. Deuces.